Hello, I'm John McCarthy. 13 years ago, in a cramped, windowless cell in Beirut, I was given a Bible to read by my Muslim captors. Not being a man of faith, I nonetheless read it through twice. It didn't make me religious, but it did make me think, leaving my mind full of questions about this ancient collection of books. This series of tapes is the record of a journey I made in the summer of 1999, in my efforts to answer some of those questions. It was a journey that not only took me back to the Middle East for the first time since my release, but introduced me to a fascinating array of people, cultures and faiths on 3 continents, all of them, to some extent, inspired by this remarkable book.
Here I am in the departure lounge of London Heathrow Airport. People dashing around in a last-minute rush to get some duty-free. I know I'm on time for my flight, which is a relief. I guess I always get anxious in airports, maybe because 13 years ago I missed the flight, a flight from Beirut in Lebanon. The journey I didn't make, because I was kidnapped, was the start of a different sort of a journey for 5 years. And that journey included fear and great friendship, introspection, and a huge degree of an enforced idleness. When we were locked up in small cells, deprived of all normal stimuli, books became very cherished, dreamt of things. Our captors were Islamic fundamentalists, religious men, and just about the first book they let us have was the Bible. They were men of faith, assumed we were men of faith, and that we would need our book. It was a great source of solace to have it. So many people in the Bible suffered so greatly, and yet ultimately they mostly seemed to be able to move on. It caused me to think, to what degree is the Bible true? Is there any historical value in it? So now, 8 years since I left the region, I'm going back for the first time. But I want to try and find out if I can answer some of those questions about the historical accuracy of the Bible and about the value it has for people as a work of faith, as a supposedly holy book. Now I got the chance to read it again, and this time, rather than reading it in isolation, to take my questions to some of the world's great experts and the places where biblical events happened, the Holy Land. It's an exciting prospect, slightly frightening, I suppose, because of remembered fears from the Middle East before. But I think, as indeed in captivity, the Bible offered a challenge and yet great optimism. I hope that it'll carry me through on this trip too.
In captivity, I remember picking up the book tentatively, almost as if it might evaporate, and I would lose a wonderful resource. Slowly turning the pages, I began to read every word, even savouring the name and address of the printer. I was relishing the prospect of great entertainment, of fabulous stories. Many, I knew, I would remember from childhood, a comforting thought that brought me closer to the home I missed so much. Although I had no great faith, my Anglican upbringing had left me with a great respect for the book, a half-remembered notion that this was the Word of God. Yet, starting as I did at Genesis and working my way through to the end, I found it quite a disturbing book. Mixed in with moments of illumination, there was much confusion. Mentioning this recently to my friend and fellow hostage Terry Waite, I found he felt something very similar.
I got my Bible, modern translation, when I was above ground, and somewhere in the middle of Beirut, I haven't a clue where. But there was a heavy shelling day and night, so bad that bits of the ceiling fell down and things like that, which is reasonably unnerving when you're chained to the wall, you see.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?